Good morning, everyone. Getting prepared for this day in the San Joaquin Valley to be a day that is going to be a scorcher. It'll be 101 today and tomorrow. And so I've got the air conditioning going and making sure that it'll be cool. That being said, let us proceed onward with where I left off. We were talking about the dynamics of pure self, essence, samadhi. The nature of samadhi is that depth concentration. That I was able to perceive and to be aware of the call. And so in the process have responded and manifested within this physical world. To unfold my life for the sole purpose of honoring that call. That being said, I'd like to, in this presentation, offer you a pathway that perhaps in your own personal journey, in your own personal faith tradition, spiritual tradition, that you're able to see within your own journey, your own process, the transformation occur. And so I'll explain to you and offer you what my experiences have brought me, what the inner knowledge of cosmic consciousness I have understood, to that direct knowledge that has given me an opportunity to come and teach you and speak about something that is very easy to understand and easy to experience. It's just a matter of unfolding in time. So we have to begin now, because now is the time of awakening. This is the time that we've been waiting for all our lives. This is the time that the world, the universe, has been waiting for. It is a crucial time. As you can see in the world of conflict, it's almost as though, somebody's sweeping and cleaning house, if you will. Really important to know that out of that sweeping, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be discomforts. So hang on, sit tight, but go deep into your meditation. The most important thing, the antidote to that stress, is meditation. Deep, profound, simple meditation. That being said, let's get into the program. There are pathways to any journey that will help us along. That journey that I want to speak about in my own personal journey is cosmic consciousness and transcendental knowledge. Simplified. And I'll try to use language that is simple for you. So let's begin, because at times I could continue to talk on and on and on, and I don't want to do that. So in this presentation, out of the 40 aspects of the Vedic literature in the Hindu tradition, you've got major unfoldment and processes that are occurring 24/7. Very profound dynamic. We are gifted and we should know that it is in acknowledging that value within that says the self, the true essence, pure consciousness, is what it's really all about, that we must get on board with now. There are, within the Vedic tradition, 4 major pathways that I won't address them all, but I want to look at briefly 2 of them. One is Rig Veda. Rig Veda is that self. It is Brahma. It is God consciousness. It is unity consciousness that you can experience and see within your meditation, your journey. As you naturally go within, Rig Veda is always present and waiting for us to acknowledge that we are the true self. We are the light. We are divine. True self is, I am Atma Brahm in Sanskrit. I am Brahma. I am God consciousness. And you are God consciousness. The second one is Samaveda. It is the nature of silence. That Samaveda, it is that flowing wakefulness within that deep, profound meditation that you experience and offer to your life, your world. Go deep into that river. Go deep and experience and know that you are one. That is Samaveda. That also speaks to the nature of what Samaveda offers us. It is the enumeration, it is the depth within the physiology, within our consciousness that we can decipher. And so this is what I'm attempting to do, is to decipher consciousness. Let's kind of, spread out the sinews, if you will, and kind of comb out, unstitch, if you will, each sinew of consciousness so that we can discern and look at what we're talking about, look at what we're experiencing about. And through my own personal experience, I will offer you that example. And the example and prior to birth was listening to the call. So I have volunteered to this call to be here. But nevertheless, we're in between the karmic world, cause and effect, and the dharmic world, which is divine will. So here we are in the middle. But this is the exciting aspect about knowing how to travel in the middle. Picking up your tools to make it easier. You need a vehicle of some sort to get where you want to go. And here is the depth that I'm offering, that I have researched my own consciousness throughout my 64 years, that is now ready and prepared to offer you. So, that being said, pure mind is waiting. Pure consciousness is present. And where is this pure mind? Where is this mind of consciousness? It's with the self. It is within you. mind is not a physical apparatus. Mind is connected to consciousness. So when you hear consciousness and speak about consciousness, then you are addressing your mind of being. And so we have tools to get to the source. We have the skills to get to where we want to go. And understanding that these are systemic levels that we will reach and come into, that will describe to us what the journey, the terrain looks like. So before the world was happening, the Big Bang Theory, out of divine will, Dharma, we have the mind of God, which is pure unity, divine consciousness. His karmic will has offered us the placement of creation all at once, the Big Bang Theory. Boom, everything happening all at once, created. Bingo. It's like he did a lot of drawing before he decided, okay, let's kind of like light the match here. And then out of that unfolded everything simultaneously in its rightful place. Everything you can think of in its rightful place. Nature has been created out of his divine nature, out of her divine nature. So we're trying to place who this grand master is, whether it's a he or a she. It's really interesting how we identify God as the paternal and have forgotten the God as being maternal equally. These are examples in the world. We have a mother and father, so yay. We've got stars around the universes. These are brothers and sisters in our families. These are cosmic consciousness floating around. I gotta go to work. I'll see you later. Boom. So, male and female alike. Cosmic consciousness. The cosmic source is within. So what are we speaking about? We're talking about before creation. Before anything was born, there was only one thought, and that was the thought of the Creator. So where does karma come into play? Well, karma is cause and effect. So what we are in effect doing is doing a lot of discussion on the unfoldment, systemic consciousness. So in order for karma to exist, it must have a cause, and that is the cause of divine will. So before accumulating karmic experiences, one needs to have the experiential nature to build up karmas. So in other words, sometimes our thinking will speak about past life karmas that will come up out of the blue. That's an example. So ultimately the goal is to balance our return. And because we've had many, many lifetimes experiences since the Big Bang Theory, We have to come back to ourselves in some way. And the principle of existence is not through the intrinsic nature. In other words, memory is a mental modification caused by previous impressions, as I was saying. So we've got multiple previous experiences that we are remembering consciously and unconsciously, the karmas of previous lifetimes. As I reflect on my notes, this karma is basically unfinished business, unfinished stuff from yesterday or lifetimes before. I can remember my previous lifetimes, at least 4 or 5 major lifetimes by name. But that's the beauty of it. I can go into this direct knowledge and discern and describe and look at the drama unfold before me in meditation. The whole idea is to purify those thoughts. And in Sanskrit, it says vritti nirodha. Vritti is that reverberation of consciousness that, to give you an example, if you look at a tornado, the tornado is going wildly. It's like a 4-level, 5-level magnitude of going round and round, and everywhere it's going, it's just chaos. Nirodha is that silent depth. So going into the eye of the storm, if you will, the center is that aspect, Nirodha, this quietude, cessation of chaos. And so vritti sarupyam itaratra, in translation, says tendencies of the observer emerge from here, from self, within. Vritti is manifested in various ways due to karma. And this value of consciousness, as it emerges from ourselves, remains here within self at the same time. That is the Yoga Sutra. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, perform action from a natural state of consciousness, where consciousness is at its simplest state. In other words, that simplicity, that quietude is within the storm, in the middle of that tornado, and everything else going around just causing lots of havoc. So vritti is that vibrational energy that creates from the land of buddhi consciousness. And I'll talk about that in a moment. So purity of mind, how do we do that? It's like wearing red glasses. We have to purify the lenses more and more so that the lens becomes clear, so that we can see and understand fully what it is to be discerned. one can do this by attaining one-pointedness of mind, which leads to the pure cessation of activity. Mind will get you into the center of that tornado. The purer the mind is, the easier it is to be one to be able to go into that center, that one-pointedness of mind within the tornado, the eye of the storm, and not be affected by the outer world. As an example, mind can't stop its oscillation by itself. Its nature is to think. Its nature is to have thoughts based on vritti consciousness. So the mantra vritti nirodha, very important, because it's like vritti, that activity must come into nirodha, to the silence, combined together. That is the definition of that. So as we continue, we know that Dharma is divine God's will. That is the nature of God's will. So isn't it true that we are also the nature of God's will within? This is the key to knowing that God is within. We have a pathway, we have the doorways, we have the key to experience that knowing directly. Nature is God's power manifested via one Vedantic philosophy, which is Maya, within Maya being that delusion, the illusion in this world that we believe to know that we are experiencing. The other is Sankhya philosophy, how we understand the nature of God's will is through understanding Prakriti. As we have spoken about vritti, that's the reverberations of activity. Prakriti is that spoke, if you will. It's the glitter, if you will, of all existence. Vritti, Prakriti, is that nature that unfolds naturally within our selves, within the universe, within the world. Thirdly, it is bhakti philosophy, that aspect of devotion to the Divine Mother. This is bhakti philosophy. So these are pathways that we can dive into that speaks more to how we are coming along on the journey. There are two aspects or elements to the eternal, this value of eternal nature. The first value is that primordial nature within who we are. The second is the other, the Purusha. Purusha is the imagery of God, Purusha. How do we know that? It is through the value of buddhi, intellect, divine intellect, which tells us that the most subtle attribute is Prakriti. It is the product of buddhi, unfolding Maya. How do we know that? once again, going deeper into the systemic value in this research, we look at the three gunas. The three gunas are the evolutions of the unfolding of consciousness through the sattvic nature, which in quantum physics is called, in science it's called the electron. The other is the rajasic guna. In scientific terms, it's called the proton. Thirdly, tamoguna, which is the neutron, neutrinos, etc. Equanimity, activity, and the last one, inactivity, sloth. It's like when you're taking a nap, you are in tamo guna. You're kind of relaxed and you feel like you just finished eating and blah blah blah. It's like sloth. Anyway, let's go deeper into this. So, soul is dependent on this matter. Soul that has all the mystical, all the historical, the cosmic storehouses of past experiences, past memories, etc. That's why reincarnation is real. Because memory is real. Memory does not stop. Memory started at the creation of the Big Bang. Divine karma, cause and effect. And so Dharma is the Lord's divine will manifested in the physical world, the cosmic world, subconscious world. So soul is dependent upon matter. And veiled by matter, soul forgets its true nature, self, essence. Keep in mind about my previous call coming out of samadhi. It is soul, it is essence, it is self that responded to the call. And now, after 64 years, and your number of years you have lived, are trying to come into balance of that nature once again. And I'll tell you how we are coming along, how we are doing that. Go deeper and deeper in a very simple way. So systemically, I'm trying to discern for you, for us, what the journey looks like, what the blossoming of your pearls appear to be like in this play of consciousness, in this unfoldment. So what is the key here? It is the karmic link to divine nature. It is the dharmic link to this divine memory. Karmic link is ego. The ego on the subjective level is the principal dynamic that arises from evolving of our own nature. Evolving through the process of God's nature, God's karma, His lila, or divine play. Lila meaning the play of consciousness, the unfoldment of this Maya into reality. Because in the physical world, this is not reality. It is an aspect of reality, but it's not the source of reality. This is really important. This is like changing 180 degrees thinking. that when you acknowledge and discern what I'm talking about, you'll be able to know exactly what I'm saying. But you have to change your mind a little bit. Thus, all things are bound by duality. This is the thing. There is night and day, there is love, there is hate, there is war, there is peace, there is air, fire, water, pairs of opposites, left and right. And there's reasons why they exist. They exist outside of us and they exist inside of us. Air, fire, digestion, water, drinking fluids, pissing fluids. This is all the natural elements within the physiology. That is, when it's in homeostasis, it's perfect order. And that the Vedic literature describes and explains all this. But I won't go into that. It's just too much right now. And so there is happiness and there's misery at the same time sometimes. So the beauty of it all is that we're individually connected to the universal divine nature, linked to universality of transcendental consciousness, unity consciousness. Thus, the spirit is reflected by matter, as I previously have described to you. Soul is reflected by body, mind, and intellect. Ego, therefore, is shadowed by individual soul, based on the three gunas: sattvic, the ultimate truth; raja, tamo, gunas. Those two, rajas and gunas, when they're calm, when they're meditated upon, purified, these are the two that cause us most issues in our lives. And the whole idea is to calm them down so that sattvic nature is prominent. You know, sattvic nature, there's the balance here. So when we take care of rajasic and tamasic natures, those two gunas, they become calm, and what rises is the sattvic nature, the ultimate truth. And so we've gone a little bit over time here, but I wanted to offer you that which is really beautiful. It's like a beautiful soul story unfolding. And I want to walk with you and unfold with you during this crucial time of awakening, because this is an awakening that has not happened for a long time. We are ready. Well, the only thing that we have to go through some kick-ass couple of years, few more years before it gets better. But not to worry about that, because you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. You'll see the light occur with instances that will suggest to you, this heaviness is dwindling, this ignorance is dwindling, and we who are present can bless everyone, and so everyone come into the same boat. Noah's Ark, if you will. If you have your own boat, groovy. The whole idea is come into that boat. Transcendental wisdom. That's the beauty part about it. So the next video, I'd like to follow up with you is on perceptions. Hearing outside of the self. That'll be our next journey. Thank you for the visit. Have a wonderful, blessed day. And I hope it's not too hot where you're at. Maybe in Alaska you're a little bit more cooler. Those on night shift, hello, namaste, God bless you. I was a night shift worker for 7 years. So I'll see you. Blessings and happy journey. Until the next time.